That's the wrong app.
Oh my God, we're live.
Hey guys.
Oh, I'm a piece of candy.
Piece of candy.
Look,
Well,
yours
hey,
froze already.
look at that.
It's because you have no internet service.
What the hell's an internet? I mean, you are like candy. You got all that sugar in there from. Oh wait, no, it's
There's
diet.
no sugar in Diet Pepsi.
I retract my
Why
statement.
do people keep saying that? Yeah, I'm gonna just read the ingredients.
What are the ingredients?
400% sugar. Oh no.
I wish.
0 calories.
Oh.
All right, so it doesn't make me fat. Total fat 0.
Ooh. So
Sodium 55 mg 2%. That is not good.
So basically, what you're saying is if we're cooking something, we need like a little splash of salt. We can just put some Pepsi in it.
I wouldn't, but you could, yes. Total carbohydrates 0. Total sugars 0.
Really?
Includes 0 added sugars. Protein 0.
Ooh.
This is not a source of significant nutrients.
So what is in it? It's just like bubbles.
It's
liquid bubbles.
It's whatever you can eat, put in your body that is chemicals.
And bubbles.
And bubbles. That's all I care about.
I just want the bubbles and the cherry flavor.
Oh, yeah. Kill me slowly.
With bubbles.
Oh, we're live. Hey, I love life.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the show. Really.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, how y'all doing?
This is JD Thomas J. Beleza, and I am Thomas J. Beleza.
Wait, what? This is JD Thomas J. Beleza.
JD McGivney over here told me that he wanted to talk about something very specific today. Apparently, he found an article earlier last night
about baldness.
Go ahead, tell him what you found out. Yeah, tell him. He refused to look this up, but once we found it, he was intrigued, but was like, I'm not diving into that. My anxiety will spend 3 weeks trying to figure out the mechanics of the science because I only saw 3 articles, and I instantly believe it to be accurate.
Didn't it say that was it if you're bald, you have like a bigger penis? Is that what it was?
It could lead to a bigger penis. So I've been shaving my head periodically, but it grows right back, meaning that my penis is so small it goes, no, you can't handle it.
So instead of Groundhog Day, you basically, you have like groundhog hair, you shave and you wake up the next day and it's back to where it was.
All right, well, today's JD's last show, and you know what I got to change? I want to adjust something. Give it a second. Talk to the audience.
What do you
just
change?
Talk to the audience.
Well, hello everybody. Thomas has handed over the reins, which means that this is now gonna.
Show's about today.
It's since I have the reins, it's now a cooking show.
You want to
I mean, not particularly. Today is the nightmare of trying to live the dream.
JD, move your chair back further to the wall. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, that's what it is.
We're good?
Yeah, that should be good.
Oh, hey,
and you could lean back a little bit and let the
Wow, look at that.
Because you see on the screen, you want to take up more of the back, so you make the chair back here, and you put the mic like this, and now see that? That's how you kind of want to.
Excuse me.
He needs to lean on the table. That's why he's gonna have bad posture.
I mean, yeah. I want to get like special chairs that we have that can just.
We do have special chairs.
I mean, yeah, but they're not down here.
All right. What's today's show about? Go ahead, read it.
The nightmare of living the dream.
That's not what it says.
Yeah, the nightmare of living the dream.
Of trying. Trying. That's a very listen.
The nightmare of trying.
Let's get this straight because I don't want to be a stickler. Is the nightmare of trying to live the dream different? I just want to make sure.
They are two different things.
Then the nightmare.
I misread it.
Of living. I don't want to be a stickler. I don't want to be like, you didn't read it exactly and you need to read it.
I misread it.
All right.
That is on me.
But you stood by your misread.
Because I was reading it over here.
All right.
Okay.
That's an excuse, everyone. All right.
Yeah.
It was complete. You just say it's wrong. It doesn't matter why it was wrong.
It was wrong.
All right. But they are two different things.
They are two different things.
All right. Well, what's this one supposed to mean?
Well, I'm going to read it on that screen. The nightmare of trying to live the dream. The sacrifice needed to achieve success in entertainment.
All right. So what's the first part mean?
To me, that means that sometimes when you try to bring your dreams to life, it could be a little difficult.
Bring your dreams to life. What the hell does that even mean? All right.
It means you got to water them with plenty of sunlight.
That was JD, not me. And by JD, that was me. So there is this misconception out there that even though it could be hard to attain, living the dream is easy. Like once you have the dream, it's like, woo, I got this dream, right? But also trying to achieve that dream is easy, right? There's that misconception. If I do A, I will automatically have B, right?
There's definitely that misconception.
Right? Yeah. If I play this show, or if I do this movie, or if I have an agent, a manager, if I write this book,
If I do this one adult film,
I will definitely be William Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
William.
And you only need a stunt penis because your actual penis scares the director, so you need a smaller penis.
All right, you know I'm uncomfortable with this kind of talk.
Willem
right.
Dafoe.
Yeah. So, but there is a nightmare of it. There is a reality to it, which we kind of ignore. And if we can accept that nightmare and focus on what it is that the nightmare is, we can ultimately learn how to bypass and achieve. And therefore, part of that is the sacrifice needed to achieve success in entertainment. What does that mean?
It means that you need to be aware of everything in your life. You have to take responsibility. You have to be able to sacrifice your wants for your needs.
Interesting. What was the first part of that?
You have to be responsible and acknowledge stuff.
Yeah, that's important. What are your thoughts on that part?
I believe that we should be responsible for our
actions?
Shortcomings.
Yeah.
And our actions.
How do you feel about that?
I feel that we should all do that.
Do you think all actions contribute to the truth of who that person is, no matter what the circumstance?
I agree.
So, like, if it's business or pleasure, would you say the actions within both would indicate who they are as a person?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to get that off the table, so I'm right. All right.
We already established that you were yesterday, off camera.
I know, but
you just want a documented proof somewhere.
Yeah. I need to make sure that there's proof that I was right. But more importantly, what I would like to go over today is allow JD just to run the entire show. Sit back. I gave him the topic. I want to see where this goes.
Oh man.
I want to see. No. What would you consider a nightmare aspect of trying to live the dream in entertainment? And then I'll correct you and explain it properly.
Let me get clarification. Are you saying what is a nightmare situation? Like what's like?
Well, nightmare is like the sacrifice, the hard part that we don't really want to deal with, and that's
like an actual thing that
it could be anything. It could be a mental,
happen, or would it be something like one's personal, like, oh, this is like worst case scenario, like them holding themselves back.
No. It's
like something that it could happen.
It is an actual like things you have to see the sacrifice needed.
Yeah, so
it has to be something that you could be a mental thing, but it has to be something that contradicts what you thought it was. So if I thought if I stick my hand in an elephant's anus, I might, that's the dream, and then the nightmare is that I pull out not gems. So Legend of Zelda lied to me. You know what I'm saying?
That one video that we saw on the internet definitely did not lie to us.
That's funny. So what is some? So go ahead, talk about that. What are some nightmares of trying to live the dream?
I guess like one of the biggest nightmares that is really intimidating and kind of is scary is the fact that your art isn't your source of success and bajillion dollars worth of wealth and income, and there you have to think of yourself like a business and not just go, oh, my wonderful product is going to make me.
I noticed you go to that one a lot. Now, is it true? Because is there anything else you feel is a part of that discovery, or is it just, damn, I wish my art was the reason I was successful?
I think it's just a big thing that a lot of artists always go back to because it's just like ingrained into them with false information and false hope that like this is like the saving grace, and it's the truth is it's not, and like it's that for me was a nightmare, but also was really relieving learning that it wasn't.
What do you mean?
Where the nightmare was like, oh, I have to do other things, like I don't understand this, and that was intimidating, but realizing that wasn't the key to success gave me the freedom to literally do whatever it is that I wanted artistically.
So you were like, oh, I don't have to worry about the quality of my stuff.
I mean, as long as I'm happy with it, and I'm proud of what I'm making.
All right, well, let's get this clear. If you want to be successful in entertainment, the moment you want to make money doing what you love, your passion, it is no longer about if you like it. That's the least important aspect of it. I don't know if you realize that. The reason is because you have to like what you're creating, but you also have to be able to make sure it's good. We've talked about this a couple times on the show. There's a difference between I like it and I don't like
Between
it,
good and bad,
and good and bad. And in fact, there is lots of music and movies and shows and stories that I've heard that are not good, but I like them. For example, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, I enjoyed watching very much, but it was not a good, like, it was literally the same show, and there was no evolution in it.
So every episode was the same.
It was the same show, like they
Adventure of the week.
Adventure of the week, right? But I'm like, I'm in. I want to enjoy.
Also dragons.
However, if you're trying to, but if you're trying to sell something, that show was successful because it was Dungeons and Dragons and it was based off a brand that did do something right. They created a very specific mechanic to, say, role play, right? So their brand grew through that evolution, that good evolution.
So they were able to just use the brand to do whatever they want, whatever it is that they wanted.
Whatever you wanted to do. Like if you yourself became very successful and it just so happened music was what you were doing, there's going to come a point where you can do like a show and people will watch that show just because you're in it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have that kind of, that Jared Leto.
I really hope that's the Christmas special.
What?
Whatever thing it is that I do, whatever show.
Jared Leto, he can go across many avenues and people follow him because they'll just be like,
that's like, oh, Jared Leto.
And depending on what you like the most in your life, you're going to connect to the most. Meaning, if you like his movies because you like movies, you're going to probably connect to that more than if you don't like, Sissy Rock. But like,
definitely not a big 30 seconds to Mars.
But I notice you say that a lot, though. Once you realize that the music is not, or the creative aspect is not what leads you to success, that's not really the nightmare part as what we're trying to talk about. That's just the reality.
So are you talking specifically like what the nightmare part of
the nightmare part is doing the sacrifice. You're not sacrificing. When you go, oh, I have to do other things. You're not sacrificing your, like,
what are you're talking about more of just like living the life in order to live the dream. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, there's things that right? we as in a row, we as entertainers and we as, like, being in the business. And when I started making a living and I realized I wasn't working a job, it dawned on me that I was making a living because I was doing work within the field of my interest. And I was okay with that, right? And that's a sacrifice because now I can do what I want. I can do comedy. I can act. I can write. I can do.
Because you have the freedom to make your own schedule and say yes and no to opportunities as you see fit.
Yeah, and I work with other people, and it's not about. Once you take away that, the sacrifice is the idea, like, I don't have to be in front of the camera to be successful. And I've talked to many people that believe that is the standard, meaning, or I should say, they believe that you have to be in front of the camera
in order to be successful.
And that's the standard. Like, I write scripts. Not all my scripts make it to the screen. However, every script I write, I get paid for. So I am a successful writer. But there is another level which has nothing to do with me. Like, I got paid to write the script. Then somebody else takes that script, and it's their job to do whatever they have to do with it. And I don't care if it ever makes it, because that's
their job was to write the script.
I did my part. I'm done. They want me to sell it. That's a whole other story, right? But it also comes to, like, if I get hired to play like guitar on something and then it doesn't go anywhere and it's not a hit, I still got paid to play guitar, and I don't care if it's a hit. And that's a part of the sacrifice of the mind. Like, I realized there was a certain point where I thought, because people would say that, oh, you acted, anything I would know, I acted for a year straight, paid, doing theater,
paid my bills,
and I paid my bills. And
so would you say in an instance like this, it's a sacrifice of ego in this case?
Well, that's a part of it. That's one of the things. That's not the whole thing, though. Ego. If you could, the nightmare is living with that idea, like, the dream is not true unless I am the next Brad Pitt, or I'm the next Madonna, or I'm the next Stephen King, or I'm the like, and you don't have to be. There are some amazing authors out there that just don't have
that level of notoriety.
yeah, or branding or time put in, and they're just starting out, but they still write some great stuff. Even what's his face, Brendan, what's his name, Sanders.
Oh, Brandon Sanderson.
He still teaches writing.
Yeah, he teaches at a university. I forgot what.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's at, though.
He teaches right. I believe I heard him once say he didn't have to, but
he probably does.
He does. He has a family, and but that's not the point. It doesn't matter. Is the point? His books are being authored by him, and they're being he is getting published.
He's getting paid to be published.
He's getting paid to be published, right?
Plus, he has a whole bunch of other stuff with those brands, with those novels.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
which
he does
expand into other stuff. But
the thing is, once you realize I make a living, like I'm not going to do tables. I'm not.
You're not waiting tables.
I'm not waiting tables. I'm not a mechanic.
Bars.
I'm not I don't work at Home Depot. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that there's anything wrong with working in those, but if I want to be in the entertainment industry, I should be making money in the entertainment, and I don't have to make that money as Steven Spielberg. I don't have to make that money as a Robert De Niro or a Metallica or like, and we have, that's the nightmare, is we live in this perpetual, well, until I have the lead role.
Or until you reach that level of success. You're saying people don't see it as success, when the reality is that you can have success by literally working in your field, whatever it is that you want to be doing, and being able to pay your day job. That right there, be able to pay your bills, like that is success. And so, are you implying that, like, in certain situations, that the nightmare is self-inflicted?
Well, the nightmare is always self-inflicted. The nightmare is us. We create the nightmare because we are not aware of the misconception.
I feel like that's a very Stephen King twist you just threw on us.
We are the nightmare.
Oh no, I'm not.
Watch this movie; it will make no money.
What a twist!
What the twist? But before I get into that, I do want to, I'm not saying don't have those aspirations to be like, I want to win an Oscar, or I want to win a Grammy, or I want to get to the level of like.
You should want to always
always improve,
but like, acknowledge like the steps along the way, and give yourself like those pats on the back to be like, hey, like you've gone from not making any money whatsoever, or like having a day job, to not needing a day job and living very comfortably and be able to pay your bills.
As long as you're paying we define on this show, success as making a living within your field of interest. The living is not a lifestyle. A living is a budgeted
monthly overhead.
Yeah, living to a budgeted monthly average overhead. Right? Your lifestyle, though, you can grow your budget into a specific lifestyle, but that's over time. There's some rules to that. We've gone over that, et cetera, et cetera. However,
baby steps.
If you want to be in a position where like you are the next Steven Spielberg, that doesn't come down to you getting that job. It comes down to your ability to network, your ability to market, your ability to take what you have done, no matter how little, quote unquote. I say that because nothing you do is little. Because if JD got a gig working as background on a show or a movie, he is now on a show or a movie where other people wish they could be on a show or a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
period.
You have now just accomplished something that some people don't even know. How do I even get there? Right. But some people go, I want to be in a show or a movie. They cannot see themselves as background. They think it's a devaluing. Oh, I'm not going to do background work. I don't want. But if you're doing background, you're meeting other people. You're meeting the next Robert De Niro. If you're sitting down to somebody, I'm telling you, Clint Eastwood, we say it all the time, he was a background actor. Brad Pitt.
Harrison Ford.
They were all
background.
Everybody is a nobody until there is somebody, right? So,
and when you're doing background, they feed you.
They do. They feed. Which is, by the way, you save money on an expense, right?
Yeah, 2 meals a day.
But so that's one of the nightmares that we create for ourselves, is we hold this. I guess I would say a delusion of opportunity, where we go, if I'm going to be a successful musician, I need to be playing Metallica-sized stadiums, and that's success. And it's like, it's not. And you got to remember, Metallica playing that level, they're living at a much higher lifestyle budget. So where they might make $1 million doing something, you're
Yeah,
like,
and
damn.
it took them what, 20 years, 30 years to get there?
It took them a long time. But again, if they get $1 million, they have so many expenses. All right. So here's an example: Johnny Depp. All right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's now, but at the time of reading this article, he was spending on average
like
$2 million a month on his lifestyle budget.
Yeah, this is like 4 or 5.
Yeah, it was before the Amber Heard thing.
It was like
Yeah,
2018, 2019 before I moved.
right. This guy, not even just forget the wine. He had to pay his house for his houses. He had the multiple house, the service. It's just in general, you know. So when he asked for a $20 million salary for like a Pirates of the Caribbean, that only afforded him 10 months of his life.
Not even a full year.
Not a year. And if you think about it, if your budget is $2,000 a month, you need 24,000 just to survive, just to live for a year. And he wasn't even able to, and he was making 20 million. You have to put into perspective that even though they're making more money, they are creating more expenses. What does that mean? Well, you know, ultimately, some of the greatest fallings of celebrity with money learn the hard way, and then they come back and they're actually more wealthy because they go, all right, I may have misrepresented my budget in a way that took over, and I no longer was in control of it. It was in control of me. So he's going to definitely, if not now, already has reorganized his budget. I know Nicolas Cage did it. I know that what's his name? Blade.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. He's done it. You know, there's always a moment where Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
Will Smith.
He first started his career, basically.
Yeah, his second album, he was broke, but he was living off of a hit.
One.
So Summertime was out and he was broke. You know, like the song Summertime. You know,
I actually don't know that song.
Really? You don't? Oh. Do you know my parents went on a 2-week vacation. They left the keys to the brand new. All right, so I shouldn't know that, but I used to listen to the album every day. Anyway, that's not the point. So other nightmares that you can find yourself in are just for actors. It would be the nightmare of you need without a shadow of doubt. This is a misconception. You need a headshot. You need a reel, and you need an agent, and you need a manager. You need these things. And you don't need these things to be successful as an actor. These are just additional tools that you can utilize to do specific things. However, you don't need any of it. In fact, the only reason some successful actors have an agent is so if they meet with somebody and they go, I'd like you in that movie, and you go, you know what, I would love to deal with that, but I don't want to talk business. I want to talk friendship. I'm a hero for relationships. Talk to my agent.
He will do the business.
He or she will do the business. And that's a tool. And why? Because it maintains our friendship, which is networking.
And we don't have to worry about the business.
Yeah, because if my agent says, no, my client needs X amount of dollars, that has nothing to do with me. That's my agent fighting for my best interest, right? However, I could bypass that and say, you know what, I'll do it for $1 million instead of my normal 15 million. You know, like when you're a bigger name.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot. It happens all the time because an actor will be like, oh, I really love this independent part. I'm going to forfeit my wage and I'm just going to do it for scale. They do it all the time.
Especially when they have the ability to do that. They're like, I just want to do this.
But that's being in control of your money and your budget. If you have the ability to say yes.
Like we went over in another episode, you're becoming your own boss.
Yep. Yes. Be your own boss. Afford your consequences, good and bad. So to get back to that though, you know, if an opportunity came up and you could say, yeah, and you're just like, I just love the project. It's your agent may be fighting for you to get the most money. And you're like, but I really want to do this project. So let's cut my rate. It's okay this time.
For this one.
And you got to remember the agent is trying to get the most because they get 10%, right?
Yeah.
However, keep in mind that is a nightmare to the reality. You know,
which part exactly? The cutting your rate?
Oh, no. No, like the way we feel to get into the work, you know, like
I see what you're saying.
You know, the value of the work, and you know, again, you want to ultimately, your job as an entertainer is to be working in your field.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you need to be at the top of your game in your field. You
Yeah,
can
'cause
get to the top of your game.
you don't. No one starts out at the top.
Yeah, except for
It's
me.
listen. Not everyone's born with such an epic beard that everyone just like looks up to.
No, if I started at the top, I wouldn't know what I was doing.
You'd be like, well,
I'd be like, I'm here, but I'm going to be, but I would fall. I would have so many opportunities and I wouldn't know how to do them. I would just be like, oh, I'm getting opportunities. I wouldn't know how to
or why?
cultivate those relations. I wouldn't know how my brand is working.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point that you're bringing up. Is the fact that like, you can't just start off all the way at the top. You have to, you have to take each opportunity that comes your way.
Yeah.
As long as it, goes along with like your inner morals and beliefs, and like you agree with everything, and just like
Yeah.
say yes if they align.
That's the
And it's not devalued.
That's the true. You got to earn your right. You got to pay your dues. That's the true version of pay your dues. Is that you're learning the process. You're understanding. Like, if I just came in and you were like, "I love you, man. I'm gonna put you at the top," I wouldn't know what to do with that because I didn't pay my dues. I didn't learn the process, and therefore I can't benefit from it. When people use it as like a stonewalling,
Oh yeah, no,
where they're like, "Oh, you don't deserve the opportunity because you didn't pay your dues," like that's the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Paying your dues is always about the learning process.
That's people taking the term and using it for their benefit, or people just not understanding.
It's also so they could say no to you.
Yeah,
you got to pay your dues before I can give you an opportunity. Like, just say you don't want me to work. Like,
it just sounds cruel and like a dick, move.
It is a dick move. I once had a comedian say to me, because an open micer came up to me. We were outside and there was a couple of us, and the open micer comes up to me and he says,
This
"Hey,
is in New York, right?"
This is in New York," and he says, "I didn't even perform that night, but he heard me talking and he knew who I was, but didn't. You know what I'm saying?
You away.
Yeah, my beard gives." So he goes, "Hey, excuse me, I was wondering if you could give me some advice, And I go, "All right, well, before I give you advice, what's your question? Like, I got to ask you a question. Like, do you want to be a successful comedian or do you want to be a good, like a talented comedian?" And he goes, "Oh, I want to be a successful comedian." I go, "Stop doing open mics." And he goes, "What?" I go, "Stop doing open mics. You're killing your chances." "What do you mean?" "Well, because you're doing material to get comedians to laugh. It's never going to happen. But the problem is now you're on open mics. If any of those comedians are promoters, or if a promoter comes into the open mic, they're always seeing you work your material and not seeing you work your material." And what's the difference? I go, "Well, if you do shows, how do I do shows if I'm not good?" "Make friends, because the shows you're gonna get are crappy shows, but they're shows. And by doing a show because you were requested,
it's a lot different than just walking in for an open mic."
Yeah, and now the audience is there to be a part of the joke, and now you can work your joke, which means you're not just telling a joke you memorize. You're working the joke. You can rhyme off of it. You can push back and forth depending on how it goes with the audience. But if you can't do that with comedians
because
they're all in their phone. They're looking down, memorizing their jokes.
Because nobody cares.
None of them care. And I go, "Stop doing open mics. You'll never learn how to be a comedian. But more importantly, you should focus on network market practice." And he was like, he goes, "Why would I do that?" I go, "Because your relationships will build opportunities, your brand will create value, and your practice of the industry will show you how it works so you don't get taken advantage of." And this other comedian steps somebody goes, "You believe that?" And I go, "Yeah, that's why I don't have a day job." And he goes, "You have a day job?" And I go, "What do I do for a living?" He goes, "I don't know. Tell me." I go, "You're looking at it." He goes, "You don't make a living as a comedian." I go, "I make a living in the entertainment industry. I can stand out here all night without worrying about getting up in the morning." And I go, "What do you got to do tomorrow?" And he goes, "Well, I have a job because I got to pay my bills." And I go, "Well, that's the difference between you and I. You're relying on I got to get on stage." And he goes, "I will always be the funnier comedian. And that's why I'll always be the more successful comic." And I was like, "Okay." But I make a living in entertainment. Like, I don't care. I don't care if I'm the next Jerry Seinfeld.
You're making a living
I'm literally
Like
what I love doing, I get to do.
Yeah, what you're like, what you like to do, you're getting rewarded financially to do what it is that you do. You
I
don't have
would,
to
yeah.
do it as a hobby and make time for it. You're just like, oh, I want to do this. Let me go do this.
Yeah. Do I want to get to the point where like people are like he's the go-to guy? Yeah. But I don't care if I am. And that gives me strength and the option to say yes and no to things. The other reality to that is he was literally creating the nightmare. I will always be the funnier comedian, so I will always be the most successful. That means the nightmare is that I have to be so good they can't ignore,
Which doesn't make any sense, because how many people have you or I viewed or like showed each other, or people that are like listening in now? Like, how many comedians, how many actors, how many movies, how many band songs have you heard, experienced, that you're just like, how is this getting like mass distribution? How are these people like making money?
It's the network market practice, right?
That's exactly what you just said.
If I did this experiment once because I was
Did it involve beakers?
Yeah, it did. I was working with this comedian group. Like I brought us together, top of the bottom pile. And one of the comedians, I had this conversation when I go, the only reason like a Kevin Hart or a Louis C.K. or a Brett or a Bert, what's his Kirshner or whatever his name is.
I don't know.
He does the machine joke.
Oh yeah, that guy.
These people, the reason they could get away with the material they do is because of their brand. That's it. That's all it is. And I go, the only reason you think they're genius and funny is because you bought into the brand. You've discovered and you love their brand.
Plus, you're probably also got introduced to them through another brand that you already gave.
Exactly. Or like
Central,
like a friend. Like let's say I was like, Louis C.K. is funny, and like, oh, if Thomas likes Louis C.K., let me listen to it. You know what? This ain't that bad, right?
Or like any comedy, any comic that has like a Comedy Central special or like a Netflix special, people already bought into the Comedy Central or Netflix brand. So
yeah, they trust the brand.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's gonna be good.
So anyway, so I went over this, and he was like, he didn't believe me. So a couple of days later, I messaged him on Facebook, and I said, hey, buddy, I don't want to give his name. I said, hey, buddy, I've been working on a joke. I go, is it all right if I just send you the joke? I kind of like, it's literally, I just kind of train of thought it, and I just got it out. And I sent it to him, and he writes back, he goes, to be honest, it's really wordy. It's slow in some parts. There's moments where like it could definitely be funny, especially if you work it. He's going on. He's just critiquing the crap out of it. So when I said it's a bit wordy, he goes, yeah, it's a bit wordy. I go, okay. Can I send you me performing it? And he goes, yeah, maybe that, So I sent him the Louis C.K. clip of the joke, which was verbatim to the joke. So it was no added words. I didn't take any words.
You literally just took like a transcription of whatever he said.
And I sent it to him, and he writes back, he goes, did you just make me critique one of my comedy gods? And then after that, he was like, oh, I completely see what you're saying. Because he thought it was my joke. And now it was not funny.
He had a bias.
He had the bias, right? But you can have a bias towards what you like.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, it doesn't matter who you are. It matters how you grow your brand and how you build your relationships and all these other things. Your skill will grow with you over time, but you don't have to be the greatest thing in the world to be successful. You can become better. No actor that we've ever seen on the screen was amazing their first time out. They just weren't.
It's impossible.
They only got better and better and better. The reason they got chances is usually somebody recommended somebody. Yeah, it's related, right? Joe Pesci, for example, was only asked to be in I think Mean Streets or
what's Goodfellas, right?
No, the boxing one.
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull, because Robert De Niro saw something he was in, but Robert De Niro was very, very close friends with Martin Scorsese, who was directing that film, and he says, "Why don't we bring this other guy in? I think he'd be great." So he didn't have to audition.
Which is funny because Joe Pesci originally wanted to be a
musician. Yeah, he also still maintained being a musician though as his acting career grew.
Yeah, I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he put out something within the last decade or something.
Probably,
but it's always like this, like 50s, 60s rock.
Yeah, well, he's a singer. He's ooh, Anyway, that's my point. So that's an example of a nightmare. But I always tell JD, and he hears me all the time, and on the show, change your brain. You have to change your brain, because what we know as the right way is only informed by the nightmares and by the misinformation, which in turn fuels the nightmares.
So you have to make sure that you're able to change the brain to get rid of the misinformation and get some new information.
Change your brain. Other nightmares that you might find yourself in. Oh, and by the way, that other thing that we were talking about with the actors is the you need stuff. Remember, you
Oh yeah,
need
yeah. It's
you
like
need the reel, you need
the
the
headshots.
headshots. You don't need any of that. Remember that.
You are literally an example of that you
Yeah.
got into SAG without a reel, without headshots. You don't even have a reel, do you?
I do have a reel, but
Oh, really?
I have a reel because my manager wanted it. But I had a manager, and my manager wanted it because they thought they needed it to get me work. But I was getting myself work while having a manager,
And never using your reel.
and I didn't use my reel. And they were like, "How are you getting this work?" And I go, "Oh, I'm finding out who's doing it." Then I don't care about that job. I care about trying to build relationships with those people
So that the later job comes
for a later job, because you're not always trying to get the job you're looking at. You're trying to get the next job. And even if you're acting, writing music, whatever it is, if you write a book, you're not writing a book to sell that book. And if you are, you're not going to go anywhere. That book is it. You're supposed to be writing for the next book. Why is that? Because if this book does well, you got to catapult that to the next book.
Mhm.
But the way you do that with your brand is you focus on your brand and what you stand for and how you stand for it. And like you get those interviews and you get out there and you let people see your adventure of you creating that book. The book's release has nothing to do with the sale of it. The same thing with your movie. If you have a movie,
in theory, you're selling it before it even comes out because you're building up the demand.
well, yeah,
In theory.
you're always like if you have a movie coming out, what do? You do interviews, because you're always working to get people to see who you are, so that when the movie comes out, it's just the reward for them liking you. But you should be working for the next one and the next one,
Like Mortal
because
Kombat.
in entertainment, the moment you are done working on something, you are unemployed.
Mhm.
Right? If you're a musician, you're on stage, even if you have a whole tour set up, that first show, when you get off stage, you're unemployed until you reach the next stage. And when you reach that next stage, which might not be, it might be inevitable that it is canceled.
Yes. Sometimes you're just like, oh, it gets canceled
A
for
bus falls over, kills your bass player. It happens,
Yeah, it does.
right?
Or a plane flies into your bus, killing your guitar player.
Do you think they got paid for that tour? Metallica, when Cliff Burton died, do you think they paid him for the rest of those shows?
No, because they did not play the shows.
Because you're unemployed the moment you're done. When you're an actor or an actress, the moment you're done with the whole thing, the promoting the show, like everything, you're unemployed because you get paid for the press.
The moment that last bit of money comes in, you're done.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, the moment you stop earning the money, because the check could come to you, but you're still unemployed.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not working anymore. You're just waiting now. You're like, where's my check? Where's my check? Where's my residuals? Same thing with music, writing, everything. And that again is a nightmare, because if I could just get that one perfect lead, my career will blow up. If I could get a manager, an agent, my career will blow up. And it's like, no, you're always working towards the next thing.
I think a big issue is the fact that people are confusing success, like career success, with fame, and the two are completely different things. As you know, you were pointing out, like that conversation you said that you had with that one comic, where it's like everyone has this idea of success is, lights, cameras, press, like everyone's always in your face asking for your autograph wherever you go, and then being able to just literally pay your bills with what you want to be doing in life. There's two different things.
Yeah, if you could pay your bills by doing something you love, you're winning. You're winning. If I had to work like a job I hated right now, I'd kill myself. For real, because I've worked for somebody. I've hated it. When I used to work at King Cullen. Not that King Cullen's a horrible place to work, but for me, it was hell. Because all I did was ring people up, and then I would put stuff on the shelf. People would take it off. Then I would have to put it back on the shelf. I was never doing anything. I was just replenishing stuff so people can take it again. And to me, I was like, I can't do this. I need to be in a. I want to wake up
And you
and
want to feel fulfilled, like you made a
yeah.
difference in the world. You want to be able, you specifically, like helping people.
I like helping people, but I also like getting paid for it.
Yeah, well, that's a nice side thing because you want to be able to afford living.
Yeah, but to be fair, I also don't charge prices that I know I could charge. I charge ridiculously low, affordable prices
And
on purpose.
there are even like instances where like you even go out of your way for like special cases where you're like, whatever year it is that you're doing, I believe in. Let me.
Oh yeah, I help. Yeah.
Yeah, and like.
Yeah, it's not always about the money, but to be fair though, like if I'm really busy, then I'll be like, oh, it's expensive to hire me because I'm like, I'll do it if they're willing to pay it, but I'm so busy right now
that you can't focus on it.
Yeah, like I will focus on it if you pay me this kind of money, but I can't, so sometimes I'll do that. But again, I'm in control. I don't need that job. That's why I'm like, you know what? It's this much money to do it. Oh no? Okay.
$1 million.
$1 million.
Wait, you're gonna pay that? It's sure.
Sure.
So the script's about gummy bears that go into space.
I'm in.
Fighting zombie horses.
I will do it for free. I will do it for free. Anyway, whatever you do in this life, if somebody questions your value of it, just remember: are you getting paid?
Yeah.
If you're getting paid to do it, well, if you're getting paid and you're affording your bills, your overhead specifically, you're a success in your field of interest.
That's another good point that you're bringing up, and it's a lot of people who aren't in the industry just assume that if they don't see your name plastered on like billboards, that like you're not successful. And like I think that's another thing that feeds into that nightmare situation that like artists and entertainers like feed into themselves, where it's like, oh, I need to be on the billboard so people understand that I'm actually successful, when in reality it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, how many people work in the entertainment industry behind the scenes and make a crap ton more than most actors?
There's a small percentage, believe it or not, if you look at the statistics, is a very small percentage of people in front of the camera or the proverbial radio, whatever. The amount of people trying to get there or the people working behind the scenes is quite large in comparison. Here's an example.
But just like look at the end credits of any movie.
I don't. I just
hours.
turn it off. I don't want to appreciate all the time. No,
it's like 4 hours of like just listing everyone.
Well, one of the things why Marvel actually puts the thing at the end is so you do
watch everything.
Yeah, so you watch it. But that's also when people. Anyway, what was I saying?
Going back.
JD always interrupts my train of thought.
You're welcome.
I don't even know what I was saying. I had a point.
You were talking about a small amount of people in front of the camera compared to the people.
Oh, okay. So this is a real thing. So if you watch like a comedian special, like a Kevin Hart or Louis
C.K., like a Netflix thing.
It could be Netflix. It could whatever it is. Even George Carlin. When George Carlin does his specials,
oh yeah,
there is a opening act that we don't see, but they're still getting paid.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Right? They're getting paid, but they're not.
They're not on.
They're not even filming a special. They're not allowed. Like they go on a stage that is dressed up for the headliner. And they do this show and they go. Same thing with like I have a My Dying Bride live show DVD. There was definitely a band on before them. At least one. There has to be.
Yeah, because usually when bands go on tour, they go as a package, or there's like
Yeah,
you
think Metallica
2 to 4 different bands.
And they did the Black album tour, you think they were the only band on the bill? No, they had other people play.
No. When they did was it Death Magnetic?
Oh god.
Like forever ago. It was they had like 3 bands with them. They had no, it was 2 bands. It was what the hell is it? Heavy Metal Elvis.
Heavy Metal.
Volbeat. That's right. There was Volbeat and Lamb of God. And then Metallica.
Lamb of God. Or in actors, you have your stand-in, you have your double, your lookalike, you have your stunt double. These are all like they don't stand out though. It's not like I'm the stunt double. Okay, do the trick. Like
oh my god, can we totally get like a stunt double to just walk the dog?
I would love that. In fact, some of the time the stunt double has like stuff on their face, and then they just superimpose the actor the main actor's
Oh, yeah.
face onto their
You're talking
face.
about like the little like
yeah,
the
yeah,
little
and
like the marshmallows.
yeah, so they don't have to quote unquote hide the actor. They just kind of, it looks like they did that in Star Wars, the 1, 2, and 3 with Christopher Lee, because he couldn't actually do that, even
Oh
though
yeah, because
he
he's like
has the
80.
most films in history with fencing.
Really?
Yeah, like sword fighting. He has the most movies in history of any actor, and
That
he is
doesn't
a
surprise me.
skilled swordsman.
That also does not surprise me.
He's also a spy. He was also
He also studied the occult.
the occult. He was the inspiration for James Bond because his cousin wrote that. His cousin is
That also does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. Oh yeah, and he's also a heavy metal musician.
He is a heavy, and well, not anymore, but
Was.
And him and Vincent Price had the same birthday, and were best friends.
That explains so many
Yeah,
things.
it definitely does. Vincent Price.
I feel like that. Side note: not being able to meet Christopher Lee is probably going to be one thing that I regret in my life.
You can meet him one day.
Yeah, not in
He
life.
studied the occult.
That's true.
So, but the thing is, in that, at his age, he couldn't do what he had to do. He couldn't do Jedi stuff.
Yeah, he was like 80 when he did that.
Yeah. So they had yes, he was. So they had a stunt double do all the fighting, and then they just put his head on it.
I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, when he was talking and stuff, it was really him standing there. But you have to. Oh, and by the way, he's directly related to a king, and the king used a sword with the hilt, which is the design for his saber hilt in the Star Wars movies.
Well, like the curved hilt.
Yeah, that was a tribute to his family heritage.
That is a cool bit of knowledge.
It's so ridiculous.
I think.
How do you not know this?
I think we should do an entire episode on Christopher Lee.
Oh, absolutely, on your own. Oh, good. The JD Show about Christopher Lee. Wait a minute.
Thomas, you can just take next week off.
Oh,
Right?
good.
You're just
good.
upstairs.
Listening to Christopher Lee's death metal.
Power metal.
Was it power metal? I thought it was death metal.
No, it was symphonic power metal. That's what it was.
But he just talks through it. Doesn't he?
Not all of it. He sings.
Well, I think
he's got like the very operatic
Oh.
voice. If I remember correctly, it's not produced very well. Like,
why would it be?
Whatever.
It doesn't matter. Have you ever heard the first Black Sabbath album? Or any Led Zeppelin album?
Yeah, fair enough.
None of them are produced well compared to, say, today. But does it make it not worth listening to?
Not at all.
See? People think quality. I've seen bands get signed on a literal tape recording of them in the garage just playing into one microphone.
Because it doesn't matter.
I've also seen people say, you should sign me because I'll make you money. And then the person say, but I already make money. Why do I need you? I'll make you more money. I don't need you to make more money. Like, why do I need you? Oh, because I'm awesome. Well, then why are you not making money? How much money you make a year doing what you do? None.
Then how are you going to make me money if you can't make you money?
Oh, because I need your money to invest in me to market me. All right. Well, when you're worth marketing, come back to me. Hey, man, what do you do? And that's another thing. That's another nightmare aspect. It's like, I'm so good that if you could just get me into this, like, imagine Metallica's playing and you're in a band and you go, if I could just open up for Metallica, we'd be huge. And it's just an insane notion. I've heard people say that. I've heard people go, like, I know this actress, and she's like, I was in a movie with so and so. I don't want to, because it'll give away the movie.
Yeah.
And she has no lines, none whatsoever, zero, and that doesn't mean anything because, again, it's just whatever role you are. Mm-hmm. But her theory was, because she was in this movie with this person in a scene, it was going to be her big break. I don't even think she's acting anymore. That's all I have to say about that.
What?
Because it's insane to think that someone's going, oh, look at that actor. Oh, wait, look at the who's that waitress?
Who's that waitress in the back? That's all blurry.
Look at that. Oh, wait, she's next to the person. Yeah, because I'm looking at this random person. There's a I don't know if anyone knows about the 5 + 1 + 2 - 2. You can only see so much information.
Oh yeah, the points of information.
And there's all these different like tests on it where like you look at a stagnant room, and then it just changes the picture in front of you. but because there's so much data in the picture for the room that you don't notice them taking like ceiling panels off, like as the pictures are changing. You don't notice ceiling panels, you don't notice balls moving, you don't notice books. Like you don't notice it because your brain can only absorb so much
so they're
data.
changing like the minor stuff that isn't like right in the middle.
No, some of it is.
Like that's it.
Oh, absolutely. In fact,
Ooh.
the gorilla test, the gorilla walks in, stands in the center, waves like this, and then walks off. And if you're paying attention to them throwing the balls, you're not seeing the gorilla because your brain cannot handle a lot. And that's why I think it's funny, like when somebody like does a flyer, like bands do it all the time. They'll like name every single band. They'll name where the show is, the tickets. If you buy it through us, here's our phone number. Here's everybody's. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they're like, well, I need all the. You don't need all. You just need some information on there because if you want to get someone to your show, give them the information to get to the show. Well, I want them to see who's going to be on the show. No,
Just
give
say
them an
there's a
emotional
show.
choice to go find who's on the show. If it's
Especially if it's like an independent, just starting out band, find out what's going to attract someone's attention because no one knows who you are yet.
yeah, no one knows. You know, like if Lamb of God is playing and you're on the show, you're gonna just put Lamb of God on there. Don't even put your stupid band on there, right? But you go tickets sold at, and then you put your dumbass website. And then, which is probably going to be your band name, which is the worst thing you could do because the band is probably or something crazy like that.
Yourbandname.com doesn't even sound like that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Yeah, your band name. You know, and then they go there, and then because they made the emotional choice to go to there, now they're interested in the information. And they go, oh, this band is playing.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. But the same thing with actors. They're like, hey, I'm doing this movie. Check out this movie. And they'll push people to watch their stupid movie. And they don't realize you're killing your audience because now you're that movie person. Like, oh, that's the movie. That's the kind of movies you do. It's low bud. That's the other thing. Like, I always noticed bands, comedians, things like that, anybody, right? They always get all their friends. They beg all their friends to come to their first show. Or their first comedy show, or like the first 2 years that they're really getting into it, they're just like, please everyone come, and they're seeing you at your worst. So there's no, and you notice when you get better, you go, hey, come to my show, and they go, yeah, I'll be there, and then like, I was busy, and the reason is because the brand that you sold to them was you suck.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're doing. But what does this say? Why should I do shows? Well, when you're starting out, even as a comedian, do not advertise your shows. Don't do it. Advertise your adventure. Show what you are doing without telling people what you are doing, and don't ask people to do anything because you're not good enough to be remembered. But if they see your adventure, they'll buy into it. And if someone buys into your adventure and they choose to go to your show, which is an emotional choice, now they're going to like what they see
because they're
just as a standard. Yeah, because they're already into, you're already losing. If you take, there's a Kevin Hart joke. There's a bunch of Kevin Hart jokes. Take a Kevin Hart joke and give it to an open mic. No one will laugh at it. I'm telling you right now. And the reason is because one of the top things in comedy is don't do masturbation jokes, don't do I slept with your mother jokes, and don't be dirty. Every successful comedian that has a huge following, other than like a couple like Peter, I forget, Russell Peters, Jerry Seinfeld, and very few comedians who are clean, but a majority of them are just pigs. I don't care though. I find it funny, but they do all the jokes they tell you not to do. And the reason is because people bought into their brand and they don't care. They just tell me the joke. Give it to me, Dave Chappelle. Just say do the rape joke. Do that same joke as a beginner with no name.
At an open mic.
They'll be like, you can't perform here anymore. That joke was, oh, you went over the line. You went over the line. I'm not saying perform other people's jokes. I'm just saying if Dave Chappelle did not write that joke and someone else wrote that joke that was a starter.
Basically do the thing that you did with the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Like, hey, I wrote this joke. Can you give me some advice?
And then send over the clip of the original person who did the joke.
Oh, yeah. It's
To prove your point.
It's a point proven. Another thing that I would say is a nightmare is having to do a show with JD McGivney and I keep forgetting. I thought it was his week off. Is you know, we think we have this mentality,
The royal way.
the royal way. We can pay our bills with this job. Like if I get one gig,
Oh yeah.
I got $10,000 for a gig. I'm set. I'm gonna buy stuff. If you, that's a night that you have to.
You have to learn to how to handle your money, how to manage your money.
Yeah. Budgeting is so important.
Yeah,
Just budget.
that was a very important life lesson that you beat into my head.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you get paid, it doesn't mean that money is supposed to go into your pool, like your foundation.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, your financial foundation, your pool of money, and you are not allowed to spend any of that extra money because you're living on a budget. The only time you could spend extra money to buy stuff that you want is if money over your safety net within that foundation is accrued and you place that money into security, growth, and dream. Dream is your I want to buy something stupid. And by the way, something stupid is something you would love. Like
something that's not a necessity.
Yeah. How many lightsabers do you need to buy? All of them, but I can't afford them until I have the money accrued to my dream account.
And we have to clarify here that when you say lightsabers, we're talking about those military grade ones.
Yeah, the ones you could actually kill people. Because the reason is your financial foundation is paying for your overhead, right? And you want as many months secured in there as possible because that is your wealth. So if you have 6 or 7 months in there as wealth, that's how long you could survive for. And if you have this wealth, it gives you the right, the power to say yes and no to things because you want to, not because you have to say yes to pay your bills. You have choice. Therefore, you can control your brand's narrative. And your brand's narrative is based on what you choose to do. So if you work on a project you don't believe in, but you need to pay your bills,
that's going to reflect on your brand and what people see and what they connect with and how they connect with you.
Which is 100%. Hey, come to my first show. And you go to somebody's crappy show, right? So you want to do that. And the thing is, if you have like 6 months covered in your foundation, any money you make over that 6 months, you could do the 60-40 split, where you take 60% out and you divide it evenly into your security, growth, and dream, and you take that 40%. And if you want, what you could do with the 40%, you could do 50-50. So you put 20% into your foundation again, because you always want to be growing that. And you take the other 20% and put that into your emergency fund. Have a number for your emergency fund.
In case, like, God forbid, like your car explodes, you're like, oh, I need to get a new,
whatever it is, like, so a good number is anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. Once you have that, you don't really have to worry about your emergency fund. Does that mean you could do whatever you want. If you want to always put that, of that 40%, put 20% into your emergency fund always, that's not a dumb idea. It's just, if you feel like I want to build my foundation more, once you have $1,000 to $10,000 in that emergency fund, focus on making your foundation full. You just want it full, because if you have like 30 months in your foundation, that means every cent you make, every cent you earn is always being organized, which means that security is going to protect you when you go dead broke. If you go dead broke,
that's a lot of months,
right? The growth is going to allow you to invest money that you say, I don't have any money to invest, but now you have accrued money to invest. And then that dream is, I want to go on a vacation. Well, you can't afford the vacation if you're just spending it out of your foundation, because that's supposed to support your existence. But if you have dream, not only is it a way to say you've earned this vacation, but you can afford it. And because you have your wealth protecting you, you can go on vacation and actually relax and come back without the feeling of, I got to get up tomorrow, and I have to recoup a lot of this money before I could even do anything.
You don't have to live off of ramen.
Oh my God. Nothing wrong with living off of ramen if it's just chicken.
Yeah. I mean, being forced to, though, is like a different story.
Yeah.
You're just like, I really like ramen.
How come your ramen packages actually have steak inside them? Because I don't like ramen. So I wrap steak up.
We said you had to get ramen. Why is this just a package of ground beef? I mean, it's like meat ramen.
You're a package of ground beef.
Thank you. I think.
Have you ever felt like ground beef in a relationship?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Many a times. How many people have you ever dated? 2.
So how many times did you feel that way? 3.
3 times.
That just defies all maths.
Well, one girl had 2 personalities.
I mean, that is accurate.
That's
That is
funny.
very accurate.
That's a nightmare.
Oh my god.
Anyway, all right. I guess that's it. You want? Is anything else you want to talk about? Do you have anything to add to this? Here, let me put you on the solo. Go ahead.
Like
ahead, JD.
on the Han Solo?
Yeah, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's
that's pretty
really
interesting.
I think it's really important that people start having these discussions, and that
What discussions?
the discussions of how the industry actually works. And like I think, you know, like what you and I sit here and like have these open conversations and kind of like point out, you know, there's a difference between being proactive and then being, you know, ideological. I think those conversations need to happen.
Well, to be fair, we're not actually having a conversation. I'm talking, and then you do commentary on it.
It's
When
kind
we have conversations, you get quiet. You get like, yep, okay, let's move on. And I'm like, but we're trying to have a conversation. Don't care. Thank you.
thank you, please come again.
I like eggs. What do eggs have to do with this? I don't know. It's just I'm changing the subject. Okay, well, I guess we won't have. I'll just talk. Oh, good. I'll just commentate on everything you say. So we don't often have
I
conversations.
should be a baseball commentator. I'm really good at
Please don't.
commentating. I don't know the
We
rules of the
have
game.
good conversations, but only once you like let your guard down and you just start talking. Then we have really good conversations.
Yeah, those guys are always just on call. I gotta get rid of them.
No, I'm just saying. You know. Sometimes we have arguments though, because JD.
I get very defensive.
Yeah,
And
he's
it also turns
he's like,
out
I
that
grew up
sometimes-
believing hazel eyes were only blue.
We also
You don't have hazel eyes, Tom. No, my license says I do, including my doctors, my nurses that I went to in school.
I learned something the other day.
That's impossible. Hey, I found out today there are different variations of hazel eyes. Get out of here.
Who knew?
Oh, Jesus. My world blew up. How often do you find new information and just accept it as fact? Often? Would you say often? And then once you find it, because that Hazel conversation, like you had to go do research to find out why you were wrong because you believed deep down you were right. So how often does that happen? Like where you have like this definitive information in your head and then it's just somebody that's lived a life blows your mind and you're like, there's no way because I've literally lived my entire life saying this thing. And then you go find it, you're like, I gotta call so many people up. My teacher was so right. How I know why I got an F. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever feel like Adam Sandler from Waterboy? My mama said that the devil. Do you ever feel like that when we talk?
Every conversation. Foosball ain't the devil. Oh my god.
Your mama's what is it? Your
it's gotta
medulla
be
oblongata.
The medulla oblongata.
Yeah,
the medulla oblongata.
Your mama.
There's usually like once a week. There's something where like something I thought I knew for like my entire life. You point out, I'm just like, there's no way that's true. And like research, and I was like, oh my god, it was right. How's that true?
And it's usually something that I like heard in passing, and I just stuck with me, and I was like, my brain just absorbs these things.
It's like a sponge.
I hate it because like everything you've ever done around me, I remember.
So anytime you like absorb stuff, you hear a noise.
No, I hear. You got to live with that. That's why I'm very picky on what I want to watch because if I watch it, you'll watch it and be like, I remember some parts, or I remember that it was funny, or I remember that I liked it.
You literally remember everything.
I have to forever know that thing.
Sneaky.
Yeah, that's why I like looking at naked women because that's okay. I like that forever. Like when a relationship ends, I just have to close my eyes and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that. You know, that's why there's a scene in Friends, very old show, where Ross and Rachel had been in a relationship and they broke up, and then it's many years later they have a kid together, you know, and Rachel's like, oh Ross, can you leave the room? I'm gonna get changed, and he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'll leave, but like,
why?
We were together. Like that's the benefit. I forever have you naked. What? And he closed his eyes and he's like, oh, you're naked. Oh, there you are. And she's like, just get out of the room. But it was like a true, like, it's like, yeah, I understand. Like, you know, you forfeited the right to further see the nudity, but but at the same time,
And then Mitch is like, there it is.
Do you have any nudity in your head where you're like, I kind of wish that would fade? You ever see nudity in your head and then you see that same nudity years later and you're like, that's not the same nudity?
Yes.
Yeah. See, you gotta be careful with that. That's why I don't look at myself anymore. I just want to remember me as an 18 or a 20-year-old.
So anytime you walk past a mirror, you're just like,
yeah, I close my eyes. I've walked into many walls because I don't want to see me as fat anymore. Like, I just want to know that I'm skinny.
So is that like every time like you're going to take a shower, there's just loud bumps and you going, ow?
Yeah, I look up. In fact, when I pee, I look at the ceiling. Oh, I just if I hear water bubbling, I know I'm hitting the right spot.
You pee by sonar.
Yeah. Like if I hear, I'm like, oh, I'm hitting the floor. So I'll just move until I hear, you know. Except at my age, when I pee, it's more like. I'm also at the point where I can't trust if I'm done peeing. Where I'm just like, I'm gonna give it another 3 minutes. You know, I'm just gonna stand here. And then all of a sudden, like right before I'm like, oh, 3 minutes are up. Right? As soon as I feel, what's that? No, and it just goes. And I'm like, oh, that would have been all on me. Don't get old, people. Don't get old. I wonder if that happens to. Does that happen to women?
I don't know. We can ask.
I guess it would have to.
We can ask a woman.
We don't know any women that like talking to us, though. How many women do you know that even like talking to you?
Oh, maybe one.
No. They talk to you. I'm saying that they like talking to you.
Maybe one.
Maybe. Yeah, but how many do you know? One. Well, who is this person? It's me. I dress up. I put like a wig on. I talk to myself in the mirror with a phone.
Hello.
Yeah. I get my computer and then I get my phone and then I go on Facebook video, but like I'm video chatting like the computer. And then I'm like, that's me. But like I only look at the computer, but I put like me in the, so it looks like I can't see me. I only see the girl. And she loves me. She loves me. And sometimes we have sexy time, which is weird because she has a penis.
Totally needs to be a skit.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, just go with it. And I'm like, all right. Then I put a little bit of music on, romantic music. Like the death metal.
So romantic.
When a girl's like, could you put some romantic music on? Do you just put like death metal on?
Yeah, obviously.
Do you have like a sex playlist?
I do not have a sex playlist.
Have you ever had a sex playlist that was like music that wasn't just screaming?
In high school, I definitely it wasn't a playlist.
I had a tape.
It was a CD.
It was a CD.
I had a mixed CD.
What kind of songs were on there? Madonna's like a virgin because you wanted to be informative.
Virgin.
But
oh no, there was one song that I'm remembering right now is "Game of Love" by Santana.
Oh my god! I already. All right. So this is with a fat girl.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with fat women. I'm just saying.
Yes, it was.
If they stayed with you after that song, they wanted to be there. They needed to be there.
Like, oh, he's so adorable.
Oh God, I'll just take anything right now. Have you ever been with a girl at her house and she's like she put music on and you're like, ah, crap, this is terrible music.
For sexy time or in general?
Yeah, for sexy time.
Oh, for sexy time?
Where you're like, what the hell is she? What is this? K-pop? Is it K-rock? What is it?
I don't think so.
You never been like, why I don't listen to
I've been
kid or play kid to play, whatever. Kid to
play.
What is it? Kid and Play.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a rap group.
I don't know that.
You don't know Kid and Play? They did the House Party movies.
I've never seen the House Party movies.
Oh, they're awesome.
I
know that. I know that eraser. They did a movie where I think his name was Play. Play was like a bully and Kid was like a genius, and they had to switch roles. And that was a pretty funny movie. It was a good movie. They made some pretty good movies, but then Play became like really religious, and he like gave up that like the whole world. And then I think Kid ended up buzzing his head, and he became an actor or something.
Really? Did he change his name?
Well, they were actors because they were doing these films, but I mean, like he just focused on being an actor. Yeah.
Did he change his name to like his actual like stage name, or was it always like music rappy
name? For a little bit, it was like whatever his name was, and then in the middle, it was like it was the Kid. So it was like something. I forget what his real name was, but it was something like The Rock did, where it was like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He did that a little bit, and then it eventually just was his name.
Dwayne Johnson. You had to do the slow.
That Kid, Kid would do that though.
That makes sense.
Would you do that? Would you have a stage name?
Yes, it's JD McGibney.
No, but like, would you be like, I want to like a stage name to my stage name? You know?
Uh, for me to be like, take what what I am now and make a stage name, no. But if I was gonna like make a character and I was just like, I'm just gonna be this like satire of whatever it is, I would do that.
You'd be like, it's McGibney JD. I don't want to get too confusing.
Exactly. Like if I was gonna be like, I'm gonna just make up like a satirical like black metal character, it'd be like a one word thing.
Like what?
Oh, something black metal like.
Kiris.
I would try and I would try to
They
find.
call me Kiris.
I would try to find something.
These song lyrics, they'll kill us. Metal.
But it would be something really nerdy. I would just have all like the black metal lyrics be something about Klingons and about Star Trek.
They fight to the death.
My black metal name shall be Gach.
Gah.
Gach.
If you could be a Klingon female, would you do it?
Yes.
There's this theory. I want to know if you believe it, and then we can finish up. They say that the strongest woman, right? Like if a woman was like at her peak of athleticism.
So we're talking about physically strong.
Yeah, like in any sport, whatever sport it is, if they are at the peak of their athleticism for that sport, they could beat some men, right? But a man at the peak of his athleticism for that sport can beat every woman. Would you agree with that statement? Let me see if I'm getting that statement right, because
I don't know. I personally do not have enough data to make that judgment, but from what I remember of like what I was taught in like biology, I think it depends on what the sport is. Because if I'm not mistaken, women are built to have more lower body strength, and then men are built to have more upper body strength. Am I correct in that?
That's not necessarily correct. Their lower body is designed for certain things, certain they can hold more weight, but not that because the way their hips are made, they have better support. But let me see if let me find this thing.
Because what I was gonna say, if that is true, then I imagine that you could have women dominate men in sports that involve, like using like your legs, so like track and field kind of stuff, like racing, jumping, stuff like that.
Well, the average male of average weight, average body, untrained, or a novice man can lift between 135 and 175 pounds. Average. There's a tricky word when it comes to weightlifting. I'm above average, lifting closer to 400 pounds, but I have met a few women who could beat me in an arm wrestle.
Interesting. So it's application.
Yeah, that's why I said within that sport, like their athleticism in that sport.
Which makes sense.
The women's clean and jerk
Giggity.
Olympic record is barely 2/3 of the men's and is beaten by the men's 69 kg record, as in a man weighing no more than 69 kilograms holds a record which no woman, regardless of size, can match. However, anyone who thinks the average man can arm wrestle a woman who can lift 187 kilograms, a smidge over 400 pounds, over her head is living in the dream world. So that was the question. So
69 kilograms is 152 pounds, by the way.
Yeah, that's his weight. So this is basically what I'm saying. It's like the best women in this race,
you're saying
they are still not even close to the lowest record for men in that thing. So there's this argument where
that is a fascinating statistic.
There's how like some women who were men and now they identify as women.
Oh yeah, like they go through like and
they're playing sports surgery where they dominate.
You're talking like with like MMA fighting.
No, but there's, I think it's, one second, basketball female who was a man broke all records.
Oh yeah.
But they're records that you can't even compete with. So, there's this really funny thing too. They got I think it's Australian female football team, for soccer or whatever, and they got a bunch of like high school kids, like boys,
Mhm.
and they beat them 7-0.
Oh my God! Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let me see if I
But
can.
it was like
Australia
the female
female. Well, yeah, but I think it's football. Yeah, football
Oh,
team
yeah, football.
loses
Was it like the Olympic
to
team too?
15-year-olds. That's what it was. Yeah, so Australian women's national team loses 7-0 to team of 15-year-old boys. That's so crazy. I'm laughing because of I'm
The
one of those
numbers.
people that go, if you were a guy and you transition to a female, I believe you're a female, but I do not believe you should be allowed to compete against females.
Because your body is biologically
Yeah.
built
Yeah,
to not be
you
standard
have that
females.
extra advantage. I would almost place it in the steroid use because you have more.
You have an unfair advantage.
You have the unfair advantage. But the same thing. But the same goes like does a woman? Maybe they do. Maybe a woman wants to like. Maybe they do. Maybe like women are like, why can't we compete in men's heavyweight boxing?
If
And it's like, but you don't even you don't even weigh close to the like. What is the male? 1 second. Male heavyweight boxers needed size, right?
what is it?
So, how big do you have to be a heavyweight boxer? Middleweight is 165 pounds. So that's I could actually be a light heavyweight because I'm 170. I'm about 180. A super heavyweight is any weight over 201 pounds. A super heavyweight.
What are those? It's light.
It's middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight, super heavyweight.
What's the lowest you have to be
160 for what?
for any of them?
165 for middleweight.
I can't even be in that.
Yeah, you're too tiny. So let's look at female heavyweight boxers needed size. What are the female boxing weights? They don't even have heavyweight.
What is it?
They have flyweight, lightweight, and middleweight, which is 106 to 112, 123 to 132, 152 to 165.
So basically, they max out at where the male begins.
Yeah. Let's see who is the strongest, heaviest female boxer. Heavyweight. Let's see if it even comes up. Strongest female fight. Wait, isn't that the guy?
Wait, so you talk about the Fallon Fox, the MMA fighter?
No. This is boxing. Who is the highest paid? No. 10 greatest female boxers of all time. Let's see who it is. It says here. We're not even to it yet. Come on. Okay, here we go.
Let's see.
Oh, Jesus. Did they give the weight? They don't give their weight. It's not worth it. We want to know what their sizes are. Anyway, I don't think. Well, let me look.
What's the person's name? Like,
who is the strongest, tallest woman fighter? Who is the strongest, tallest? Allison is 6. Oh, these are all 6 foot. They're all 6 foot.
They're Amazons.
They're not even. They're like bantamweight, featherweight. Here we have a heavyweight, 6'2". What is 100? Oh, wait.
What's your question?
6'3". Ooh, let's look at this one. Oh, she just started. What's her weight? They don't tell her her weight. Where's the weight? Weight class. She's a light heavyweight.
So
she's from Ohio. That's interesting. She's lifting cows. That makes sense. Anyway, but again, like the strongest female might be able to take on some of the males, but like the strongest,
like you cannot take just weight wise. You can't take the top woman and face it against the top male boxer because
it's just they would get dominated. But again,
Basically, none of them can face Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson can't even face Mike Tyson. Ultimately, if you're able to do it, do whatever. If you want, if a female was like, I want to fight a heavyweight fighter, go have fun. You want to do it, it's your choice. But what I'm a little confused at is if I was massive in size.
So if you were like Arnold Schwarzenegger at his peak,
It's just taking. I think a female runner broke a male record. Female runner broke a male runner record. I think they did, but who broke the record? Completed a race games in an eye-watering 18.9 seconds, which would have smashed the world record of 19.19 seconds and his own personal best in 1950. Damn. Jim Hines, he's quick too. Has a white man ever broke 10 seconds?
In what?
In running. Oh. I break it every night when I'm making love. Hey, baby, consider me Olympic. Anyway, it doesn't
Becca
matter.
Swanson holds the overall deadlift record at
Ooh.
683 pounds.
Damn.
What's the record for a man?
Damn.
Yeah, why don't you look at that? See what that.
Let's see.
What's it saying? Good.
Male deadlift record.
What is it? What do you got going on over there? He's checking it out. What is it? 200? Was it 240? Are they lifting 180 pounds?
600 kilograms, which is.
What is that? What is that?
No,
820? What is that? 1,000? What is that?
Let me see.
What are they lifting? You all right over there?
Yeah, I'll find out.
Jesus, it's gonna take it forever.
It's 400 kilograms. 400 kilograms.
Was it 720?
It is 881.
Well, I was close with
pounds.
800 and some. And what's the most the girl did? 6 something? What did you
just
say?
lost it.
620? Was it 1,000? Was it a million?
600.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it was like 600 something.
Whatever.
Lost it.
Anyway, I just think it's it's like the female MMA boxer who was a male and then transitioned.
And then
They're dominating.
because it's their body,
They're just
their muscles, their bones are built.
Ronda
as a
Rousey,
man.
I think, fought that person twice
Yeah.
and lost twice. And she was top of
She was
her
undefeated until that point.
Yeah. And she was like I think it's unfair. I think
100%.
yeah. But again, if Ronda Rousey was like, I want to fight a guy, go for it. Like, if you're choosing to do it. But in this situation, I don't think it's a choice. I think it's like putting them in. Just like there's weight groups, like you and I would never be in the same weight group.
No.
They wouldn't allow us to fight because you would get a couple good punches and then I just have to just put my weight into you.
Boom.
Yeah, you'd be like, all right, I get it. Oh, you got me.
Yeah, you definitely.
Time out. Can we pause? We're 10 minutes into this, and I got him with 2 good hits in the face. I was like, rah! And he was like, boom. And I was like, oh, that's where this is going. You know what? Why towel this?
That's why we got them weight classes.
Can we throw in 6? Throw his towel in for me. I'm done with it. Anyway. It's like when I got hit with a metal aluminum bat in high school, and it didn't even move my head, and I just turned around and I go, we can go further. And they were like, we're good. I was like, don't ever do that again. They're like, yeah, no, we got it. We got it. Because I'm a beast. Anyway,
but you're not blue.
I used to be. What was I saying? Oh,
different classes.
Different class. So you and I would be in different classes. So I think that would be fair. I think if somebody transitions to female, they're a female, right? That's fine. Whatever. I get it. But that should be a class unto itself. You are transgender of this weight class. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
because this way, there is subdivision within sports like that specifically to give everyone
a fighting chance.
Yeah, and like if there is a biological advantage that you're going to have over somebody, there needs to be a division. So this way, it's not just a slaughter.
Yeah, you can't take the heavyweight MMA female fighter and put her against a heavyweight male fighter.
Yeah.
Just,
Just like
even
you
if she
can't-
transitions.
Just like you can't take the heavyweight female fighter and put her against the lightweight female fighter.
I mean, you can,
That is dumb.
but it would be. I think that in that situation she might be able to hold her own a little bit, but she's gonna get her ass kicked.
Yeah, it's like if you were to take the heavyweight male and put him against the lightweight male, it's like you can't.
It's going to be the funniest fight ever.
I mean, it definitely would.
Imagine Riddick Bowe at his Riddick Bowe was a heavyweight. Imagine Riddick Bowe at like I think his name was Riddick. Whatever.
Anyway, that guy.
The guy with the dreads. He was. Imagine Mike Tyson at 22.
Oof.
Okay, fighting a featherweight that's your size.
That guy is. Yeah.
That guy's
real.
gonna dance around, and then he's gonna have to be woken up.
Yeah.
He's gonna like, I got this. He can't keep up with me. Oh, this is gonna be. What do you mean that was a month ago? Where am I? Brazil? How'd I get here? Wait, I'm Brazilian now? he knocked my nationality. What year is it? All right, so don't do that again. Is what you're saying? So I trade for nothing. I was beating people up. Man, I thought I had a chance. Mike Tyson's dead. How many years have it been? You said it was a month. Oh, it was a month after the fight, but 30. Okay, I get it. Imagine getting hit
so hard you're knocked out for 30 years.
There's a really funny video of the Big Show. You know, like
The wrestler.
The wrestler. I think he's the Giant on WCW. But anyway, the Big Show. Somebody like a fan was harassing him at a bar, and the Big Show stood up, turned around, and just slapped him. Didn't punch him, slapped him in the face. And I could have swore that the Big Show was hitting a fake dummy. You know, like when, like if you and I got into a fight and you hit me or I hit you, we'd still have consciousness to like maybe stop ourselves from hitting the wall. You know, you're like, oh, that was a good one. Or like if we fell to the ground, we're like, oh, you know, I stopped my this guy was like the hand touches his face. It didn't even move yet. It just touched his face, and the force of shock absorbed through his body that he just went limp. And then when he went limp, the Big Show's hand kept going forward, and because he was limp, the guy's body went under the Big Show's arm. That's how you know he was limp, because
It's like, what?
and then the guy just his head went flying and then pulled the rest of his body. And let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it, and then I'll share the screen because it's so funny.
So basically, what you're saying is, if you're if you're messing with someone who's like 4 times your size, it's probably a really bad idea to egg them on and get them angry, especially if you're in a situation where there's alcohol involved and their inhibitions are lowered.
Yeah, if it's lower. Now this is saying the Big Show punched him, but it's a slap. You'll see, it's a slap.
It's even funnier because it's like the Big Show at that point, you know, he literally just did it to just get the guy to stop. Like he literally had nothing to do. Like he was just like, I'm not gonna use anywhere near my.
Oh, this ain't a good shot of it. Let's see if there's another shot in it.
Oh, another shot. What is this? Piece of candy? What's that? Is that it?
He went to court for this too with the guy. Oh, never mind. This ain't a good shot. I wish there was a better shot, but
the only reason why he went to court, I'm guessing, is because
he's a lethal weapon. You know, if you're a skilled fighter and you're fighting someone who's not a skilled fighter, you're technically a weapon. That's why there's an argument that what's his face? If anyone's seen Falcon versus the Winter Soldier, I'm going to do a little spoiler alert here.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So
the new Captain America, which is what's his name?
I
don't know.
John Walker.
John Walker. He kills one of the super soldiers, like one of the guys, but he's going after him because one of the super soldiers killed his friend, his partner.
So he's chasing after.
So he's chasing after just a super soldier that didn't actually kill the guy. He was just a part of the group. And then John Walker kills this guy. He smashes the shield into his chest.
In cold blood, in rage, in front of a bunch of people.
The reason it's not considered cold blood is because the guy is a super soldier. And the idea is that the guy's hand is like a nuclear weapon. Because if he hit you, even at a tenth of the strength,
You mean a gun?
no,
Because a nuclear weapon would literally just destroy.
he would. If you look at the
town.
if you look at the stats, even Spider-Man, if Spider-Man didn't hold back, you would explode when he hits you. Because Doc Ock once did it,
Oh yeah.
and he blew through somebody, and he was like, "What the?" And there's also another comic book where Spider-Man is dealing with like a basic thug, you know, and he just flicked him in the face, and he knocked him. So like a super like Captain America, if he went full force, he would you would just turn to mush. That's how strong he is. So these people are super soldiers. So they're all weapons. So it wasn't like the guy was weaponless or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was saying I surrender, but
He
at any
is a
given
weapon.
time he'd be like I surrender, and then like
Pew.
boom, you know. So he was still a threat. Do I agree with the action? I don't agree with the action. Because John Walker was reacting based on rage, and the guy was escaping, and you could ultimately just be like, we'll just find them again, because they already had found them multiple times.
Or being that he had him detained.
No, he didn't. The guy ran.
Yeah, but then he caught up with him, and literally he held him.
yeah.
He could have stopped him, like, I am detaining you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. He had the choice to detain him. That's why he lost the shield. But the guy was not helpless, even though he was on the ground.
Mhm.
You know, he could have. But at this time, also, the new Captain America took the serum, so he was also a super soldier.
Which is how you could have detained him as well.
Yeah, you could be like, let me detain this guy.
And then you also got Bucky, who is another super soldier. So two versus one to detain.
Well, yeah, but Bucky doesn't like the Cap, so he probably.
I'm saying hypothetically.
Hypothetically speaking, there could have been a demon knife.
And then they just, makes the perfect goulash.
I always ask JD these ridiculous
Would
would
you
you
rathers.
rathers. I mean, they're obscenely ridiculous. And he's always like, I don't know, I'd stab it with my demon knife. I'm like, you don't have a knife in this situation.
I choose blind.
Or I choose blind.
One of the two. Demon knife or choose blind.
I really wish I could remember what the first choose blind. Not that you said it, but I was like, would you rather be blind or something else? And you were like, I'd rather,
It was like a choose blind. And then everything after that was I choose blind.
I
Before
choose
you even would you rather I choose blind?
I'm gonna go with blind.
I didn't even say it yet. I still choose blind. That's not even an option.
Anyway.
Demon knife.
All right, I guess we're done. We got a little sidetrack at the end. That was a nightmare. All right, so there you go. The nightmare of trying to live a dream. The sacrifice needed to achieve success. I'd tell you to go check out our stuff, but it's the end of the episode, so you're probably not here anymore. Well, no. Who? I always think it's stupid when, like, at the end of the show, they're like, "All right, if you want to check me out," no, say that crap in the beginning.
Yeah, and
like if you really care. But they're watching your stuff, so they care. They care. Anyway, so JD, sum up today's show.
Summing up today's show.
That was good. All right, so next time
we found out that if you need to add a little bit of sodium to your cooking, just add some Diet Cherry Pepsi.
No, let's sum up a nightmare of trying to live the dream. The sacrifice needed to achieve success. By the way, just to clarify, the sacrifice is that you make certain sacrifices to obtain your success.
So you sacrifice your wants for your needs so that you can have your wants in the future.
Correct. But anyway, so sum up the nightmare of trying to live the dream.
Summing up the nightmare is understanding,
let me put the
right
camera on you.
Wait, you ready?
I'm gonna give the camera to you. You ready? There you go.
Which camera? There's three of them.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
It's your camera. Go ahead.
How you doing?
Go ahead. Let me put the mustache on you. All right.
I wish we had like a little thing.
I do. You do have a little thing.
Yeah, I need a little.
Yeah, because you're going bald, so it might actually be growing now.
Yeah, so I gotta shave it.
No, your thing.
Oh yeah, the little thing. I gotta.
You're not going bald on your face. You just can't grow hair in certain spots.
Yeah, that's definitely
like
true.
your nose. Do you grow hair in your nose and shave it?
No, I get like the tiny little, like everyone has a little tiny fine hairs.
Oh yeah, the man hairs. No, I get little brown hairs on my nose sometimes.
Did your nose have?
Because I'm a man.
So do you get like a mustache if you don't?
If I don't answer this, you can move on to the next. Just go ahead, sum up the things so we can
go. So summing up the nightmare.
Going back
is
not the nightmare of trying to live the dream.
Summing up the nightmare of trying to live.
No, to try.
Nightmare of trying to live the dream to try to live the dream that you're trying to live.
Yeah. The nightmare to live the dream.
the nightmare of trying to live the dream is ultimately like learning that you have to
What's going
prioritize
on
certain
here?
things. You
No,
have
no,
to.
no. Today's show was about how there are
Misconceptions.
misconceptions, and we survive our efforts based on misconceptions, and that becomes the nightmare because we're hoping for a result based on us taking action on misinformation, and therefore not seeing the result of what is true versus what is the nightmare. The dream is making a living within your field of interest and not holding yourself to these insane standards that are not accurate. Doesn't mean you should not try to reach higher levels. It just means
You have to take baby steps.
refocus your mind to accept your accomplishments on the way, and that there's more to the system than just what people tell you should be. For example, if someone says, you're a director, have I seen any of your movies? And you go, probably not. And they go, oh, then you're not a director. And you go, but I make money as a director doing these independent things or commercials or,
Yeah.
what have you. You're still a director. That's it. All right. Anything else?
Has anyone ever told you that you should like consult people or do like?
I do
Speaking
consult.
engagement.
I do consult, but they don't listen all the time, Like this guy JD McGivney. Like one time I was like, "Hey JD," and he was like, "Ha ha 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 ha."
I'm
ha,
sorry,
ha."
I tuned out for a second. What
Wait,
were you
what?
talking about?
Not to you. No. Have you ever listened to me?
Once or twice.
What's it feel like when you don't listen to me, but then you listen to me, and then you realize you should have listened to me?
I usually feel like an ass.
Oh man, that's crazy. You ever feel like you're slightly retarded?
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes the way you respond to me, I remember how I used to respond to other people, but I definitely fell in line quicker than you have because there was a certain part of my brain that just was starting to like.
It's definitely a character flaw for me to be so stubborn.
Listen, look, it could either happen instantly or you could take some time. You did something that I believe I said very specifically. I was like, you may see results, but ultimately, I think you should have 18 months.
Oh yeah, that thing.
And you're like, yeah, but I got enough and you started again. There's the nightmare. You were making excuses that you had these resources, but
I was relying on the resources and not just following the exact steps to make sure that I didn't have to rely on just those resources.
Yeah, because at a certain point, those resources vanished, and also you were doing other things to compensate for that.
Mhm.
And I was like, if you had this, you'd be fine. But you're not the only person, by the way. Everyone's like, well, how do I just get into it? I'm like, well, you need 18 months. Yeah, but I was like, look, you could do it with 6, but you're not gonna make, it's gonna be so hard because you only have 6 months or 8 months or 10
you're
months.
limiting yourself.
Yeah, you need 18 months. You just like my theater, like even when we quote unquote closed down from the fire marshal, I was still able to pay my bills. Like I wasn't, and then I was a certain point, I was like, let me cut ties because I'm just basically fueling a sinking ship. So it's like, let me take my money and go open a new office, which was the smarter thing to do.
Yeah.
But then I was like, wait a minute, I got to carry this whole office. I'm out. So I left because the person I was working with was like, I'm not gonna pay bill. I'm not gonna pay anymore. I was like, all right, whatever.
Then you're heck with that.
Right. If you're not gonna pay, I don't need to be here. I don't need to be doing this. Like,
yeah, and then you just regrouped and you adjusted and moved forward.
Yeah. I do what I do. I do what I do.
I do what I want.
I do what I want. I'm writing a new song, and JD hates it. I just want to put it out there.
I don't hate it.
He was like, "This song is stupid.
No, not at all.
Just so basic."
Why is? Actually, I haven't heard the bass yet.
What? Yeah.
Down to that.
Yeah, I just make the bass play whatever the guitar's playing.
Or apparently the riff for King Nothing.
No, it goes boom, down, boom, down, 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 down.
It's not even close to King Nothing.
I know that. That's why. That's why I was like, oh, I don't think it is, but it was like because the King Nothing is.
Where's your crown,
it goes,
King Nothing?
Boom, down, down, wait, boom, down, and it's down, 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 something like that. I don't know, whatever. That's like a Jason Newsted riff. He wrote that, and they were like, "Ooh!" It was like the one thing where they were like, "You can do it."
And he was like, "Yeah."
He's like, "Yeah, I can't wait to write my own music." And they're like, "You're fired."
Get out of here. You're gone.
Yeah.
What are we having for dinner?
Food.
Oh, you want to make that?
Yeah. We did that Korean beefy thing.
Oh my god, he just wants to make this thing.
We could just do burgers.
I don't know. What you think should have? Oh no, I shut you.
Oh, you got rid of me.
Yeah, I had to. All right, we're out. Oh,
What?
by the way,
Don't work too hard.
what? Oh yeah,
Be
but be
productive.
productive. Yeah, I guess if you want to be, If you want to, we're raising. We're trying to raise $1 for coffee. So
If you want to donate to the coffee fund,
yeah, you could do 1 penny is fine. Except PayPal takes out 30 cents.
so do like $1.30.
Yeah, do $1. Do actually, if you could just do 31 cents, and then it'd be like you donated a penny,
Oh yeah.
and that'd be fine.
That'd be great.
All right, with that said,